So yeah, besides this existing, I can't really say much about this, and also, yes, I know it's not season 17, it is 19. There's a reason why this is fun in a sort of nice way, but it is sort of like The Apprentice. You got to see people doing some stuff, and that's it. It's cool. I don't know. I watched this alongside Your Five, but Your Five is going to be a bit. But this overall, I watch these because I'm like, I kind of like watching this. It's the same with I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here. I'm kind of like, well, I can't stop now. I have been watching it before, and I can't stop now. Well, why can't I stop now? Well, I can't give you an answer to that because I have no answer. But yeah, this is fun. So yeah, I know technically there's one more season, but so I'm redoing this because I accidentally said a spoiler. But let's get all the stuff out of the way. One, yes, I technically haven't finished either Luke Cage season 1, Iron Fist season 1, The Defenders season 1, or Jessica Jones season 2. True. I also admit that I haven't even started Daredevil season 3, Jessica Jones season 3, Luke Cage season 2, or Iron Fist season 2. And there's no season 2 of Daredevils, and I feel like that might be a thing that is coming around. So that is one thing. I kind of pushed this a bit forward because one of the things that is in this that I like, that I wanted to watch, was obviously because one of the YouTube channels I do sort of keep up with, because I have said before, I have this No TV. I've deleted the playlist, but I got the playlist, but I don't have the note system. But one of them was Screen Crush, which I like seeing that behind the scenes. And because of that, I do know that was rewrites. I do know about that. I can't really tell which is rewrites. I can sort of tell where it's like, oh, by the way, the Punisher, who wasn't originally in it, he's here, and Foggy, who wasn't originally in there, is in there. A lot of people are saying, actually no. Now let's get to the spoilers. So yeah, I know this is going to be long. This is definitely going to be a long video, but that's besides the point. Actually, to the point I can actually do this. But a couple of things that I do know is, I do know that his death was meant to be something else, but I do find it interesting that he does die. I like that for his character. I find it really interesting. I also like the idea that even though I want to see more, that Muse dies is interesting. And I found that really fun. Overall. I didn't know if there was going to be more to it. It felt like there was going to be more, but I like the fact that it set up for more. And I feel like there's going to be a season 2. A lot of people have been talking about it. I like it. I like the whole idea, and I like how at the end of season 2, because there's a Punisher special, which Screen Crush have speculated is either, I don't know what it would be, but one of the ideas is, but I do remember, is him escaping from his prison, which I would love as an idea. But besides that, we can't really say what this is going to be. But overall, I do think this is a good idea, and the idea that there's going to be sort of like a war overall is a fun idea. Being like, what's going on, whose side is whose, is like, not whose side is whose, but like whose, actually no, whose side is whose, because we don't know, because we know the Vigilantes are obviously going to take Daredevil's side, but who? We don't know if Spider-Man's going to be in or not, which is going to be fun. But overall, I like this series. I know there's a couple of context about the FBI in season 3, but But all I do know is that he had a thing with the FBI, and Bullseye, who is the same actor, was an FBI agent. So, yeah. So, obviously, besides some things, because I do know that he had his mind sort of like, had this sort of like, oh, I have this mental state with these crickets, and I've heard some things that Screen Crunch has said about this, the third series, that sort of talks about this series. And I am eventually going to go into Daredevil season 3, that is a fact. But overall, there are probably some smaller things that I'm less than due to, but this is still, I know a lot of people don't like it, but I like it. I like what it was. So yeah. So I hope you enjoy it, and good night. So yeah. This is fitting timing. So I kind of watched this because of what is currently happening. And if you don't know what is currently happening, which I would be surprised, I think it's kind of big news, which is the Pope died. That's kind of happened. But because of that, my mum actually came to me and was like, oh, by the way, this film sort of looks at what Conclave was, and we could watch it and see, like, sort of like where it is, why it's good, why it's bad. And like, do you know what? Why not? So I did. It's good. It's entertaining. Besides one thing which I like, and even then I'm not going to give too much either because I don't know how much I can talk about it. But I do find it really interesting. But let's go to actually two things actually. But the one thing I like overall is, I don't know how accurate it is, but with a group of people who is meant to sort of represent kindness and forgiveness, they're really interested in drama. Like, geez, I wouldn't be surprised if these people are like, are like, oh, and this person did this. I also like who they put into priest as the next sort of like, as the next one, as the next pope, because I find it interesting. Was it on purpose? I don't know, but I find it really interesting. I don't know if that's going to be anything in the future, but it'll be like really interesting because like there's a certain things where it's like the conclave is only men because it represents Jesus. I don't fully get. I can get why you say that. I don't get how that makes any sense though. Still, but I'm not religious. I am not Christian. I just don't get it. I don't know. But yeah. So yeah, it's a good film, but I'm going to be honest, I watched this because I was interested in what the idea would be. I have seen other videos on YouTube about it, but because this film exists, I'm like, why not? Fitting timing. So yeah, but it is still fun. So I hope you enjoy, and good night. So yeah, another one of these. There'll be a couple of these, and then later on I'll be moving to the big book of CDs that I have, where I'll be doing sort of the stuff there as documentary basis. So yeah, and there's a couple other stuff that's gonna come in here or there. That's gonna happen. Meaning, it's very complicated, I've got to say, but this. Or this. Yeah, it's another one. It's fun. I don't know why, I just had VCDs in my house, and because technically they're CDs, like documentaries, I just wanted to watch and review them. It's fun. Nothing much to it, it's a fun watch. I would definitely 100% recommend it. It is fun, but I don't know how you can find it, so yeah. So they did that, and my brain. What? So The Residents. The one thing I like about this, and I really do like about this, is the idea of it being unknown. And yes, you have a bunch of people who do lie with politicians left, right, and center, which I'm not going to say who would lie and who would not, and left or right. I'm not, but we all know that there's certain parts of politicians where it's like how you say your certain words, where it's like, well, I'm going to say this. Might not be entirely true, but I'm going to say this. And again, not going to choose sides. Not my point in this video at all. But it's so fun where the whole point is you're having people talk about an investigation while interviewing the people what happened while the murder was happening. So what did she say? So it's like, so she asked this person, you cut to the person, so what did happen then? So this is what I did. You cut to them in the past being like, doing the actions. It's like, there's so many layers. It's like 64 walls. But I do like the whole mystery with it all. With that being said, obviously, because I want to say it, there's spoilers coming up soon. I know I do a spoiler section, but you know, this is a murder mystery, and even they say it at some point where I was like, they're turning this into a murder mystery. So, spoilers. The one thing that I like about this is how confusing it is by 50 people who did 20 different things to make the problem worse. Why? Because one, you had this whole scene of earlier, you had the knife and sort of like the chef grabbing the knife, putting it in a box and trying to dispose it with a furnace which isn't broken, which is interesting. You have that and you put it away. I also like the fact that they go to the hearing, they go to the very end, and it's not the end of the series, but the very end, and it's like, do you believe it? And then you have this mystery person, and then they bring back, because the detective, this person here, throughout most of it, you're hearing from someone else's what they say about the detective, which is a fun idea for when the actual detective comes back in. It is all true, but it is all like, oh, this person had said this and this and this. You're not having this. So what's happening is, like I said before, you have a sort of like a hearing where it's like, what actually happened that night? And then when they came back, it's like, okay, here's how the actual murder happened. And here's me going over an event that happened in the past again. We're doing it again. Where I talk about a past thing. I talk about my own. It's very, let's talk about the past. But they have this entire thing where they take it from place to place. So the first place, because earlier on they've already discovered the knife and they've already moved it around. No. But you had a thing where the body was dragged from a room that had like fake construction in it into this new room. But oh wait, there was wet paint. Why was wet paint there? It was fake. There wasn't actually anything there. Oh, there was blood there, and someone just painted over it. I also like the idea that it's like, well, I needed to fake this, and there was like this like thing that looked like a note that means ending something. I don't want to say certain words, so I'm gonna do something, and it's like, you mother, how you actually have a conscience, you. This, like, the brother person who did all of that action, that is just, but, it's like, but then, they came from down here, and you saw a person moving the body from here, all the way to here. Why did that happen? Well, could you believe that this person believed this other person, like, committed murder? Oh, they believed it, so they moved the body. So, before we get to who the murderer is, you have one person moving the body to the room of, like, being constructed. You have that, another character, move the body to the dining room sort of area, and placing a knife and doing whatever he thought that was a good idea for. And then you have him who finds his own knife there. He didn't do that with the knife. He takes the knife and tries to destroy it, which makes it confusing for no reason. Because what happened was one person meets another person, gives a bit poison. Oh no, I'm poisoned. Chucks it on the plant, realizes it's a bit too late, but he's still experiencing pain. Oh no, it's not going fast enough. Takes out the vase, chucks it, and then just grabs the clock and puts it over his head, like smashes it over his head. And that would have been 10 times complicated if the body was there, but oh no. And that's what I love, where it's like, oh, have you seen this person? It's like, I am concerned because I killed this person and he might be alive and walking among us, but it is just so absurd. The amount of confusion that happens because people just like, okay, I'm going to do this. The other thing that I like is, one of the things that they have jokingly is like, oh, I'm going to do an accident of this person. And everyone's like, yeah, he told us to stay off the roof. That's weird. Because what happens, which is also fun, is one person speculated where it's like, oh yeah, there used to be a door here, which is interesting. And it's like, but you did that. It's like, no, I didn't do that. He asked me to do that. And it's like, no, I did it. It's like, if only there was someone in here who can interpret and sort of like make a voice of this person. And it's so interesting of that weird thing of like one person does this and another person does this. It's a bunch of like different contradiction opinions. It's very contradictory, and that's what I'm saying. It's very, people have their own like goals because of it, and they do stuff because of that. I also like, and this is one of the last points I've got because this is nearly 7 minutes, one of the things that I love that ended him is that he had a lot of mistrust within everyone. And the one thing that sort of put a nail in his coffin was he saw someone who he didn't really trust, but at the end of the day, when the chips were down and it's like, forgiveness, Chu knew this, he gave them a new chance, he gave forgiveness, and they took advantage of that. And yeah, I'm going to say who it is basically the social, like the person who does the social media thing. And it's like, oh, we need new. I need to redesign everything. And I like the idea where it's like, I'm a person who agrees where it's like, sometimes you do need something new. Sometimes if a system is broken and doesn't help people and disadvantage them in huge ways, what you need is to update the system to do this. But some of the things was like a wellness retreat of this. And like a lot of the rooms getting redesigned and rebis, and a lot of the things with the White House, which realistically, do I think this will happen? No, there's a lot of stuff with the White House where it's like, it's very historic. It is somewhat like a museum in a way. It's like Buckingham Palace, where it's like both of those were like, would it be useful to not have to have like probably like if you want to change the certain thing, just change it. Maybe probably not like the White House. Probably not like of the Buckingham Palace, but it has that sort of like museum in historical thing. So you can't just, we're gonna get rid of this painting. This painting sucks. Get rid of it. But the idea was like, oh, she just hates the house because this represents things that she doesn't like, and I find that interesting and fun. You can tell that I like this because I like the mystery. I like murder mysteries. I like trying to figure it out. And I like this whole thing that you get to solve it through. That's what I think is why people should watch this. Is because it's not just figuring out what happened. It's figuring out why people have done the things they've done. Because it's very, why did you do this? Why did you do that? This is very questionable, your decisions of these. And that's why it's fun. And that's why, in my opinion, I 100% recommend it. Go and watch this. It is amazing. Go and watch it. So yeah, sadly this is 10 minutes, but I hope you enjoyed this 10-minute video. And good night. This is a long video, but yay. So who will say yes? And who will say no? And how many episodes have we just asked a question at this point? Quick update though. This is the main jacket that I'm going to use because it's comfortable, it's nice, and it's really easy to put on and off. I'm not going to transfer my clips because I don't know which one I can and can't, and that's just confusing. But I'm going to transfer On This Day and the reviews because YouTube, TikTok has this, and that's easy. But with this, carrying on with this, this is fun and insane. With all like the stuff of like, we're going to persuade you that we're going to make a whole episode. We're going to make like 3 whole seasons of it. And I know, yeah, there is a season 4 coming up, which I think only doesn't have that many episodes, like 4. But like, just ask. But it's really fun and insane, I think, because of that. Because of insanity. It knows what it is, and it's fine with it. The one thing I like, though, is because midway through, there is a student election, which I can't comment about how accurate it is, but the one thing I like, and this is the fun part, is at a certain point, it was like, the main character, and yes, I'm bad with names, is like, winning. Landslide. It's like, clearly he's gonna win. His opponent, who becomes more of a character, is sort of like losing and is in this moment of frustration. But rather than having her be left there, he actually comes up, picks up the mic, and does a full debate and sort of like helps her not win, because he still does win, but sort of like become more stable and more calm. And that, I think, is honourable for someone to be like, I could just do nothing and win, but I'm not, because that's disrespectful. I'm going to go in and actually help this person with this thing. And it's like, yeah. But yeah, this is really cool, really fun, and yeah. I just like it because of how chaotic it is. But I definitely would recommend. But I hope you enjoy, and good night. So yeah, I had to re-record this because I forgot the sound thing. That's still bugging me up. But yeah. But overall was basically, I only watch The Apprentice You're Fired because The Apprentice exists. No, the other way around. I only watch The Apprentice because You're Fired exists. And I like it because it's sarcastically taking the episodes. You could technically even watch it because all you're going to be saying is, oh, by the way, this is how a bunch of people did a task. And that's it. But I like it. It's the only sort of show that I watch the Segment Plus on. Because I know some other shows like that I've reviewed, game shows, have this plus section, but I don't do it. Because I don't really care. But because this guy is a legend. But yeah.